Hello everyone, my name's Gavin Corbett, and I'm going to read this beginning of a story that is in the current edition of The Stinging Fly, the winter edition. It's called Faeces In My Airbnb, and it really should be read in a German accent and at pace as well, but I'm not going to attempt either of those things for this reading. So here it is. I had come to the Middle East because I wanted to stop being a hippie and I wanted to start a new phase of my life. Then after some 35 years I grew to hate the desert and its clear air and the way the blue sky was reflected in the metal tubes, and I desired again dampness and dirt under my fingernails, and I craved fungal spores in my eyelashes and nostrils, and I sought to be cleansed with the remains of fallen life and the very cack and the kike Scots of it, but it took until a great personal crisis for all this to come into resolution. It became necessary for me to leave everything behind and start again, and requiring such shit and solace, I thought naturally of childhood and, being German, of Ireland as a result of my exposure to Heinrich Böll's Irish Journey during my schooling. My dream was to move to the Aran Islands off the Irish western coast, or somewhere similarly enshrouded in atmosphere and myth, but in order to turn this dream into a reality, I needed to experiment for a little time. I arranged to stay for 3 weeks in the city of Galway, which I would use as a station to explore the surrounding territory and take some passenger ferry trips to the islands of fable themselves. Who knew, I might even discover that I enjoyed the city of Galway so much that I would want to live in perpetuity there. I had not been in my life to Ireland before this adventure, and as is the case with many Germans, my perceptions of the country were influenced by my reading of the Böll Meisterwerk. In particular, the western portion of Ireland had the most romantic effect on me, such that I realised, of course, while choosing to ignore the realisation, that any true experience of the place could only result in anticlimax. Böll depicts Western Ireland as the heimat of the last unviolated Aboriginal European culture, and though I knew surely that Ireland had changed importantly in the 60-plus years since Irish Journal had been published, I was certain too that if any such place as Böll portrayed were to exist in Europe, if only in the largest remaining vestiges, then Western Ireland was this place, because you simply had to examine a satellite image taken in the night hours of the serrated continent and note how little artificial light there was in Western Ireland. It appears, in fact, on this image, being pale dark blue, as a shallow submarine shelf in the ocean before the dark mountain-high depths open up. And amid this ocean blueness, only the tiny golden jewel of the city of Galway glitters to offer hope, as in that certified by the Queen of Heaven, of the title of the Roman Catholic hymn, Hail Queen of Heaven. Hail Queen of Heaven, the ocean star, guide of the wanderer here below, thrown on life's surge we claim thy care, save us from peril and from woe. Mother of Christ, star of the sea, pray for the wanderer, pray for me. Creative Commons attribution, though perception is dependent, of course, on the contrast and brightness settings on one's computer monitor. This promise of healing, but also the prospect of awe and terror, were the twin yet paradoxical attractions for me to Western Ireland, as I had developed in my life, possibly independently of Böll, a sentimental idea that the Atlantic waters of Ireland's maritime jurisdiction constituted the vastest example of that rarest phenomenon, a European wilderness, and Europe's only real desert comparable to the Gobi or Kalahari. It was true that Portugal, too, of the other countries of Europe, showed its full face to the ocean, but Portugal made its identity by taming the ocean, while Irish coastal peoples were famously fearful of the ocean and understanding of their place in the sublimity of its dominion, such that if an Irishman goes down in the ocean, he accepts that he must sink like a stone.